And it was just immediate. Like, I saw his face and it was just like he was gone. We're gonna light an anthropology candle because nothing is spookier than anthropology. Now this is a campfire. So today, there's nowhere to put this. Oh, I can put that maybe there. That looks like I could start a fire. I thought it'd be really fun if I told some ghost stories because I go to the College of Charleston, and if you guys don't know, if you look up most haunted cities in America, Charleston, they told us that we were number 1. We're definitely in the top 10 list of most haunted cities in America. So when I was a freshman, I took a class called Ghost Stories, and it was really cool. We went on a ghost tour, and it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that in my life. And like, let me tell you, like, I became obsessed. Like, every time any of my friends come to Charleston, I always take them on a ghost tour. And like, I low-key kind of joke about like becoming a ghost tour guide my senior year. I don't know, like it might happen. Like if you, like in like 2022 or 3, I don't know when I'm getting back to college, but if you're on a ghost tour, you might see me there. Who knows? Anyway, my freshman year, I had some ghost experiences that I thought were just really interesting. I grew up going to Catholic school, so I'm not gonna get into any of like religion stuff, but I'm gonna start with my first ghost tour. So the first ghost tour I ever went on was with my Ghost Stories class when I was 18, and when you're in Charleston, they take you to this very specific cemetery. It's in the Circular Congregation Church, and I think it's the graveyard. There's like a difference between cemeteries and graveyards, where like cemeteries I think are not connected to churches, but graveyards are. So I think it's the graveyard attached to the Circular Congregation Church. And if you're ever in Charleston, go walk by this place and go on Church Street. Like it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like I don't like it, but I also walk that street at night a lot, and like it just, I don't know if it's giving me the heebie-jeebies because I know all these ghost stories about it, or if it's like actually haunted. I'm not really sure. Oh my god, I have to get to the point. So we go on this ghost tour, and a bunch of us afterwards decide to like go back to this haunted alley. And it's like this I forget what it's called, but there's this really like long alley in Charleston in between like the Queen Street Players, like it's a theater place. And you're supposed to be able to hear like the whistling doctor, and it was this guy in like the 1700s who like was like he died there, and he would always like whistle when he was a doctor and he was alive or whatever. So apparently if you walk down it, you can hear him whistling. So a bunch of us went and ran it, and I was like so scared. This was after the tour. It was like probably like 10:30 at night. Like we were just a bunch of like wild college kids out in town. Anyway, it was fun, but yeah, we were all gonna like walk it like one by one. And I did, and I ran. So I was really scared. So I didn't do that. But anyway, after that, there is this other place in Charleston called the Old City Jail, and I'm gonna put a picture. Whoa! I'm gonna put a picture here. And it's honestly terrifying. It's the weirdest thing. Like you're walking down this beautiful street in Charleston, like there's $1 million homes, like literally like it's quintessential, like beautiful neighborhood. And then all of a sudden there is like this 1700s jail that is literally the most murdery place ever. And I do not go there because literally even the ghost tour guides are like, I do not go there because it is so haunted. Like people get pushed downstairs, people like feel hands grabbing them. Like that is not what I'm about. A bunch of these kids at like 11 o'clock at night were like, hey, we're gonna go to the Old City Jail. And like, that's just not really like, I mean, do as you want. Like, I don't know, maybe they're more free and easy than I am. But I was like, I am literally not doing that. Like, that's a good way to get killed. Not just by ghosts, but like, that's just not really good practice to be like walking around at like 11:30 at night in a city. Especially Charleston, because there's some iffy streets, so you have to be careful. You have to like have street smarts. So when you're on our first original ghost tour, what they always tell you is like take pictures because like you never know what you're gonna get on camera. And like a lot of times it's like these little like light orbs, and people are like, ooh, like it's haunted, like oh, like I don't really believe in that kind of thing. Like I don't like orbs, like that's just like light reflecting or some, I don't know. Anyway, this girl came to class on Monday after this. This was like a Friday night or a Thursday. She comes to class and she's like, I was going through my camera roll and I found this picture, and it literally, like, her heart stopped. Like, she was just like, I was so freaked out. So she showed us all the picture, and she took it in, I want to say there's a grave site right in this Old City Jail where they were, and she took it at midnight or 11, whatever, and you can clearly see from a tree, like, a woman in a wedding dress and a man next to her, like, hanging from the tree. And honestly, I wish I had the picture because it was the freakiest thing that I've literally ever seen. So that's just like my introduction to ghosts. And then I didn't know if I believed it, but then like after that tour, I was like, oh, like I believe in ghosts. And I was sort of like hoping that, not like hoping that I'd have an experience, because it's like that weird thing where you're like, I like don't really want that, but also like. So in my dorm room, I lived in Warren 10, if you go to College of Charleston. I lived on the 4th floor to 425. Yeah, so if you live in 425. So I lived in my dorm room alone. My roommate moved out like midway through the first semester, and I had the room to myself because they put like 2 single beds. That's a long story. Anyway, I had the room to myself, and every Monday night I would watch The Bachelor with my really good friend who lived in the suite next to me. And there was this week in like February, or maybe it's January, February, I don't remember. It was whenever The Bachelor was happening. I was sitting in my bed, and I had like one of those like handheld like little mirrors, and I was sitting looking in the mirror, and I saw like something move, and I don't know how to like explain this, except like I just saw like movement, and it didn't look like anything. It was like, it almost looked black, like a shadowy, but like you couldn't see anything. It just looked like movement. I really don't know how to explain it. And so I had started seeing this around my room, and like I would see it like in mirrors, and I would like turn around, or like, I'm literally gonna burn my house down. Okay, anyway, I would see this movement for like a couple of weeks, and then I just sort of like put it out of my mind because I was like, I'm probably just have like eye problems or something like that. Like I don't know what's going on. Anyway, one night I was watching The Bachelorette with my friend, and all of a sudden, like, I see this movement thing out of the corner of my eye again, and my friend, goes, "What was that?" And I freaked out. Both of us did not sleep that night because I was like, oh, like, like it's haunted. Like, I don't know. I've been sort of seeing that for the past couple of weeks, but I didn't really know what it was. And so we were like very, very freaked out. And then sort of like the following weeks, I pulled on Monday nights, I pulled out like my Snapchat, and like you can do that thing where like the dog face goes, and like sometimes they say like, oh, if there's a ghost, like the face goes to them. So only on like Monday nights when we were sitting there would like a face appear in between me and my friend. So I low-key think that my dorm room was haunted because I kept seeing that movement for a while. I think it was a friendly ghost because I wasn't like getting like I was getting like weird vibes because like no one like wants that like in their room, but like I wasn't like scared of it. That first night like that she saw it, like both of us didn't sleep. I don't think. Okay, so this next story is probably the craziest. So this past October, we're in October, so a year ago, my friend came to visit me from another college, and I took her on a ghost tour because I love to take my friends on ghost tours. Like it's just like a fun activity. And it was a really boring ghost tour, like not to like be offensive, but like the lady we got was like a historian, so like a lot of the tour was just like history, and like it wasn't very exciting. So this is the same graveyard, so you go into like the Circular Congregation Church graveyard, and she's telling us a story about like this one grave, and in Charleston they have a lot of those graves that like come up out of the ground, so it's like a box, so you can sit on them, and not that you should sit on them, but like just to give you an idea. And obviously they're like cement or whatever graves are made out of, I'm not really sure. So my friend and I were like on the tour, we're like kind of like, you know, we're having a fine time, it's not like very exciting. And we're at this one gravesite and she's telling us this story about how like right around this grave, people start to get like a little bit nauseous, or they start to like feel kind of weird, like they have to leave the tour. So every night before the ghost tour starts, the tour guide has to come in the graveyard and sort of like tell people to leave. So every night she would say like, oh, like I see this guy like sitting on the corner of this one grave where everyone starts to feel like a little nauseous, and I like would tell him to shoo or like get, you know, to get going. And then of course it was like she realized it was a ghost, blah blah blah. She's telling us a story, like, okay, fine, whatever, sure. And so the story of this man, so she asked like her colleague, like, oh, why is this guy sitting here? And she was like, oh, well, that grave is the grave of so-and-so, and those are actually his kids because he was a doctor and he went to like Spain, or I don't know, he went to somewhere and they caught the Spanish flu. He gave it to his family and then he killed his family and like he was quarantined from them. And so anyway, I somehow, like, I'm not getting this right, but like he felt responsible for their death. So like the story was that his ghost would like sit on the corner of this grave and like mourn them, and he's like doing it for like forever now. I don't know ghost lore. He's doing his thing. So she always tells a story about how people just sort of start to feel like uneasy around this grave, and they start to feel like nauseous, they feel like they need to leave, right? And so the guy in front of me, we're leaving now, we're going to like the next part of the tour. The guy in front of me starts to like, he says to his wife, he's like, oh, like I don't feel good, like I kind of feel weird. And I thought he was kidding because like obviously she was just telling us a story about feeling nauseous. And so I just kind of like, I keep going, like I'm talking to my friend, and then all of a sudden I see him sit down on the corner of this grave and he faints like immediately. The second that like his butt hit the side of the grave where the ghost would sit and mourn, he fainted and he smacked his head on the pavement, and they had to call like an EMT. He had to be taken away because the whole side of his face was bashed up for when he hit the pavement. And it was just like the craziest thing that I'd ever seen. Like we were really freaked out, and it was just immediate. Like I saw his face and it was just like he was gone, and then he was like completely fine. He had no prior medical issues, and you know, they attributed it to be like the day was kind of hot, but honestly, the day wasn't very hot. Like for Charleston, it was kind of medium normal. He was a tourist, maybe he was just dehydrated, but like, it was just a very weird coincidence, and like all of us kind of felt uneasy after that. And I'm sure that he's fine now, like they got him proper help, and then the tour continued. But yeah, that was just like a really weird experience. And I just like, I love hearing people's ghost stories, and I just think that it's just wild. Like the more people I tell this story to, like in my personal life, like the more I hear their stories about ghosts, and like, I don't know, man, I'm just saying, like, I believe it. So I hope this was fun. I love telling spooky stories. I actually have another spooky story that's not mine, but I don't know if I'm allowed to tell it. So but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe I'll make another one of these, because they're a lot of fun, and I want to be a ghost tour guide one day. Like that'd be like a super fun like side job. If you like this video, subscribe, give it a like, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when I upload more videos. I upload on Monday and Thursday, and I do like sort of like lifestyle, like, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I'm brand new. We'll see. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a spooky day, because it's spooky.